Good day, everyone. We are Grupp Luft. I am Julianne, they are Leoncio, and together with me are
Damian Basco.
Angelika Espejo.
Camille, Esteller.
Keith Page.
from AM23, and we are here to take a stance to preserve the land.
Taking a stand to preserve the land. You might find yourself asking what's with the trees, oxygen, the relationship, and such. And you'd be right, it's a vast topic. But the one thing I would say is that we are indivisible from biodiversity and nature. And it is time for us to renew that relationship. A new deal for nature and people is urgently needed. The oxygen cycle is a vital biochemical cycle that ensures that the concentration and level of oxygen in the atmosphere are maintained. One of the primary causes for the existence of life on Earth is the oxygen cycle. The biosphere could not function well without that oxygen. So what am I talking about? A tree has the ability to provide that essential of life for all living things in our planet, and the power to remove harmful gases like carbon dioxide, making the air we breathe healthier. So, to keep it simple, through a process called photosynthesis, leaves pull in carbon dioxide and water and use the energy of the sun to convert this into chemical compounds such as sugars that feed the tree. But as a byproduct of that chemical reaction, oxygen is produced and released by the tree. It is proposed that one large tree can provide a day's supply of oxygen for up to 4 people. So, learning how to save trees may seem intimidating, but it's really far easier than you think. Everyone, no matter how young or old, has the power to protect our forests. Whether you buy bamboo toilet paper or plant a tree on your own, your actions will have a positive impact on the world around you. Its effects may not be immediately evident, but the planet and future generations will thank you.
Biological cycle is the means of any of the natural pathways by which essential elements of living matter are circulated. The term biological is constructed that refers to a consideration of the biological, geological, and chemical aspect of each cycle. Elements within biological cycles flow in various forms, from the non-living components of the biosphere to the living components and back. In order for the living components of a major ecosystem to survive, all the chemical elements that make up living cells must be recycled continuously. Each biological cycle can be considered as having a reservoir full of a larger, slowly moving, usually a biotic portion, and an exchange pool, a smaller but more active portion concerned with a rapid exchange between the biotic and abiotic aspect of an ecosystem. It can also be classed as gaseous, in which the reservoir is the air or the ocean, and sedimentary, in which the reservoir is Earth's crust. An example of a biological cycle married with a logical reservoir and environment can be elaborated with the dam's conclusion of habitat destruction. Those inhabitants are severely impacted by changes in salinity and oxygen levels due to the high rate of evaporation and growth of aquatic vegetation within the reservoir itself.
Not much is known about the invasive species affecting the oxygen cycle, but there is one example, oxygen weed. Oxygen weed, or its scientific name, Lagarosipon major, is a bottom-rooting perennial with leaves that have minute serrations along the edges, arranged spirally around the stem, and are curved backwards or downwards. Native to South Africa, it was introduced and spread out to the world as an aquarium plant. Oxygen weeds are likely to invade habitats like rivers, lakes, dune lakes, or other still or slow-moving water bodies. It grows rapidly in moderate to highly lit areas with low or high temperatures. It is tall, long-lived, and dense. It also lacks native plant competition to easily overtake smaller native species. Because of its tall height, it also blocks sunlight, preventing native species from growing. Because of its density, it could create large clumps that could cause flooding in meadows. It is suspected that oxygen weed escaped from aquariums and the water garden industry to water currents or boats, where they would find their way into habitats and become an invasive species. With its loose stem fragment root at any node, it becomes easy to spread and colonize new sites. Buds along the stems form new shoots and roots. It spreads by water movement created from catchments. These catchments are then infested by fragments and moved by boats, eel nets, diggers, people liberating fish, and emptying aquaria. The expected effects of oxygen weed are decrease of oxygen levels, increase of pH levels, decrease of sunlight penetration, increase of decomposition of dead plants, and the reduced biodiversity.
We all know as human beings, oxygen is a very important aspect and essential in our lives. That not only does it gives us going, but also helps the body keep flowing. But what happens if we have low oxygen levels? Well, a big factor that you can have that affects your genes is hypoxia, inducible factors, also known as HIFS, which is low oxygen conditions that affects your gene expression that can actually be harmful for your body since it affects not only your cells but also your tissues that may give low benefits and other diseases. Another aspect of having low oxygen levels is oxidative stress. Oxidative stress is very harmful for your body because not only that it gives stress to the cells and tissues in your body, but it also affects your own physical well-being and gives you as well different diseases and conditions that may affect you in the long run. But what happens if you have too much oxygen levels on your body? Well, you can have what it is called oxygen toxicity, or also known as oxygen poisoning. When you have too much or extra extreme oxygen level in your body, which makes you cough very loudly and have very heavy breathing, or gives you complications in breathing that may cause your death. Too much oxygen and little oxygen actually affects your genes and body as well as a whole, and giving more implications than expected, which is why it is very important we have the right amount of oxygen in our body and our cells, because this is a big factor that can affect us in the future and in the long run of our bodies. Thank you for watching Taking a Stand to Preserve the Land. We hope that this video is very informative and helpful for you to have awareness in terms of preserving our oxygen and our lands in the long run. Again, this is Grupp Luft from Group 4 AM23. Thank you and good day.